I'm good. I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. We're recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of All in the Delivery, episode 31 here. And guys, this episode is brought to you by, yes, you, that's right, you've guessed it, because this is the 4th time I said it, I think, right? You guys, our Patreon subscribers. And guys, how awesome is it that with our patrons in our corner, we can reach our goals and continue delivering greatness? We would like to thank Tony, Fernando, Andrew, Max, Clement, Nate, and Ryan for your continued support. And guys, listen, if you're interested in supporting the podcast and getting exclusive Patreon benefits like being able to watch the show live as we record, or maybe you just want one of those cool Patreon crew stickers, or maybe even this Patreon shirt, guys, head to www.patreon.com/AITD-pod. Again, patreon.com/AITD-pod to sign up today. Ooh, now that that's out of the way, let's give it out to down south there, my co-host down in West by Virginia.
Fuck.
Luke Nomad, how are you, buddy?
I'm just thinking when this gets released, it's gonna be your first day back at work, and you're just gonna be fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Exactly.
I'm thinking how rusty. I guess you've done it before. But man, that's a long time off.
This won't be my first day back to work. I've already been to work for a week.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. My fucking, I'm
right.
sorry. Our schedule.
My past week sucked.
So
First week back,
say, yeah, I'll tell you ahead, he's going to be sore as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Discombobulated.
You're damn right about that.
Fucking rusty, maybe.
Maybe Rusty. You know what? I probably won't be that sore. Let me tell you, I worked a lot of muscles recently that I haven't worked, holding this kid and bouncing him around all night long and trying to get him to go to sleep, dude. My back's sore, my arms are sore, so I just fuck it. Let's just go. Let's get all sored up, if you will. Oh shit. But how was your week though? Good.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't too bad. I had only went over 9.5 one day, so I went in Friday thinking I was going to get slammed, but it wasn't that bad, man. Snow and ice is cleared up.
Good.
Everything's good. It's just back to normal. So yeah, it's been all right. I guess when this one gets released, I will be off this week.
That's
as
right.
You're hearing this.
Yes, you were on vacation now.
I'll have as we're recording, I got one more week to go. But
there you go.
Looking forward to that for fucking sure.
Absolutely. You know what I'm not looking forward to?
What's that?
All this nonsense going on right now with cancel culture.
Oh, geez.
And just how ridiculous it is. Okay? I mean, for some reason this year it's just been running wild so far, right? I mean, how many different things were there?
It has.
Mr. Potato Head? Oh, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. It's just Potato Head now. All right, any of you guys out there.
There's a couple things. There's a couple things though that, from as far as I understand, that as far as the Mr. Potato Head thing and like the Dr. Seuss thing goes, that was the company and the family within itself that decided to do that. I don't really think it was cancel culture.
I heard about the Dr. Seuss thing.
It kind of got lit by it. But I mean, I don't know if they said something of, and I'll say this now. Shout out to the 1 Minute Man, Kevin Clancy. Today is his 40th birthday,
KFC.
I think, or it was yesterday. I might have fucked up his last name if I did, but he was talking about the, but he was talking about Dr. Seuss was born in 1904. And, he was said even at the time he died, like, before he died, when he was older, in his elder years, that, he said some of the things he said he wished he would have depicted different.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that, but I mean, it all gets mixed in. They've tried to cancel some ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about before we went on is like when you hear it now, but it's still like ridiculous to think to cancel, like we were saying, Grease
or Eminem.
I wouldn't care. Eminem, I care about. Grease, I think the movie sucks. So I was fine if they canceled that, but Eminem, I was very upset about.
Did you see the song he wrote? Did you hear his comeback?
Fuck already.
He already wrote a song about them canceling him.
Of course he did.
Because he thrives off this shit.
I know he does.
And it's incredible. It's incredible.
In his older years, he's still just as lethal.
He was just anything that can make someone angry, he threw in the song. It was insane. Any word, any word. Like he threw in all the words like that. Someone would be like, "Oh my God, he said this." It was ridiculous. So go and check it out. It's on his Instagram. If you go to his Instagram, it's the links in the bio. Yeah, so I'm just fucking advertising for Eminem now.
I will say this though. I will say this though, because I've with with like TikTok, they said it was Gen Z that was Generation Z was trying to cancel Eminem. And literally when I'm 36 now, and when I was their age, when I was Gen Z's age, the government was trying to cancel Eminem back then. I was like, he's literally been trying to get. So the
FCC won't let me be. Yeah.
But I mean, Eminem's used to. That's just a fucking day in the park for Eminem.
I know. But anyways, guys. So listen, let's get into our guest here because he's waiting patiently over there on the other side. So guys, listen, our guest today is happily married. He used to work for the company, but not anymore, and we'll get into that story. He is currently traveling around the U.S. as we speak. I believe they're down in Florida right now. And you guys may have seen them on Instagram as Rolling Rogans. Him and his wife are on Instagram at Rolling Rogans. Him and his wife are also fabulous artists and also fabulous people as well. So guys, please give it up for Mr. Joe Rogan. Joe, how are you, buddy?
What's up? Yes, you got Joe Rogan on.
Fuck.
I'm doing awesome. It's every day is paradise. Every night is paradise. That's how I'm going here.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you guys are awesome as well. Thanks for letting me share the platform tonight. I'm ready to go. I'm coffeelicious, and let's do this.
There you go.
Dude, I honestly thought about brewing some coffee up because I didn't drink anything this evening.
Yeah, you said you were slow as a river. What'd you say?
Slow as pond water. Is that another term you never heard?
Add it to the list. That was going in the 365-day calendar. Slow as pond water. What?
So when
that's got to be a West Virginia thing because I've never heard that one either.
So when I played football in high school, our line coach, Coach Conaway, God bless him, rest in peace. He passed away, I think, in 2008. But that was a saying of his because I was a lineman, and if somebody was sucking ass or did something, that's what he would say. He'd be like, "You're slower than pond water," and then you stop and think about it. You're like, pond water doesn't move. Like, that's pretty fucking slow.
Oh my God. I didn't think about that till just now. Until you started putting you started painting a picture of like what he meant by this.
Well, that's how it was when I heard it the first time. So I was probably like 15 years old. And I thought for like a split second, I was like, oh wait, it doesn't move. Oh shit, yeah, that's pretty fucking slow. Good one, coach.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of like those, like, I don't know. You ever like have if you ever seen Dukes of Hazzard, the show, and like when they pause in the air when that car's not even there's no way it can actually clear that and make it. It's like up like this. And then like you got the narrator commentary. It's like, well, boys, I think that's just slower. That's like than these slow pond in water or something. like it's awesome. Like, grilling up a patty or a steak. So I don't know. It's like what does it even mean? But Luke, you just cracked me up with your terms. The
Oh,
thing.
dude. Oh, I appreciate that. I've had a lot of random ones. The way, I wish I could take credit for the Jerry driving around looking like he's looking at Christmas lights, but I can't claim that for myself, but I can just remember, like, it's just like so many things that I've heard. I mean, that was one that, I don't know. That's a gem. You just hear them around, being around. And I've been around. I've actually, I mean, not like you. I haven't traveled like you have, but I've been in a lot of places in the country, at least. So I've picked up some. I've been to Florida a lot. How far? Where are you at exactly? How far are you from Jacksonville?
We're probably about 2 hours. The other side. We're on the other side. We're on the west.
Okay.
Right by the Gulf right now. So if you're familiar with Sarasota, we're just a little bit north of Sarasota.
Florida
Florida's Florida's the penis state, as you know.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
So as we continue going down the shaft, we're on the west side of it. Yeah.
And I mean, just some fucking crazy weather and crazy wildlife, maybe I should say, because that's a shout out to UBM, to Brad Mosier. I know he used to he's in, where is he, at Naples?
Naples.
And
Mm-hmm.
He was just I remember one time when they were having a hurricane, and he was just brushing that off like it was nothing. And I was just thinking, like, alligators and shit, and just be like, I would not want to jump. I would not want to jump in a river in Florida. No, I mean, like, here where I'm at in West Virginia, I know I can go in a river. I can jump into a river and here. And the worst thing I'm going to run into is where I'm at. It's like a catfish. Maybe like a fucking muskie or something. Nothing that's gonna, like, possibly eat me alive. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do that in Florida.
We're like Australia. We have like the 10 deadliest creatures. It's not any different. So of course you got the alligators and stuff like that. But there's other stuff that will kill you here. It's crazy, and I didn't know it. But you're not supposed to swim in the lakes. That's just dumb. And it's not because like an alligator would get you. There's like this like amoeba or like this parasite that will just latch into you, go up to your brain, and then years later you become dumb.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I've also heard of another. I don't think that's in Florida, but that's in. I heard. We were talking about movies and stuff before we went on. And crazy big fucking reptiles. Anaconda, the movie Anaconda. That was the first time I'd ever heard of the parasite that if you like piss in the river, that thing swims up and crawls in your urethra. It like fucks you, like you have to amputate it out. And I don't know, man, that just made me cringe right now thinking about it. And I remember Anaconda was the first time I'd ever heard of something like that. And it like scared the shit out of me. I remember no matter where I was at any ocean, and probably still to this day, I don't piss in the ocean. I'm so worried. But that's another.
The Gulf is better. That's why we're here in the Gulf. Not a lot of activity. If you go over to the Atlantic side, like West Palm Beach, Daytona, that area, I mean, even Vero Beach, it's like shark infested. So, and sharks are cool. There's nothing wrong with sharks. I mean, there's more people that kill sharks than sharks killing people. But when one happens, everybody goes all like crazy over it. But I also over by Cape Canaveral, so you don't have to worry about security much because the alligators would take care of that. If you're ever trying to go through up to the launch pad and everything, they're just like laying there, just chilling, having a good time. So that's like their security. It's pretty funny. But
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm with you with sharks and stuff. Like I feel like they're not I hate that. I don't like if they would get poached or killed or whatever. I feel like that's not the sound. That's their turf. I mean, if we're swimming in the ocean, man, we know they're out there. I've gone out. Quick story. The only shark story I actually have. On our honeymoon, we went to St. Augustine, and so we got married April 30th. So it was still kind of like cooler out. It wasn't really like getting the water weather yet. And when we were on the flight down, there's another story from that, but I'm gonna save that for another time. But there's a woman that was a local, and she said, I don't want to deter you guys from getting in the beach, but we've had some problems with sharks lately. And I was like, well, fucking thanks. Here we go. And so the whole time, like the first few days, it was like I said, it was cool. Wasn't really warm enough to get in the water. And I forget what, like the third day or something, it was actually hot. We got in the water, we swam, and we went down to the ocean every morning. And the next day it was still, like the weather had always had been. So we weren't getting in the ocean. I swear it was like 10 feet from where we were at. I saw a shark jump up because it's like bottom was facing me. It was a split second, I didn't see. I just saw white gone. I don't know how big it was, but it was big enough. It made a nice splash. And I was like, fuck. Yeah, I was like looking around. I just went into Chief Brody Moe's and from Jaws. Nobody was in the water because it was, like I said, it was fucking cold out. But that was the first time I'd seen a shark, I believe. Not like ever. I've seen sharks in captivity, but that was the first time I'd seen a shark in the ocean like that.
Have you they do this thing with sharks that's pretty they do speaking of Jaws, have you seen that where like they put people in a deep end in a swimming pool and it's night out and dark and they actually put the inflatable movie screen out and they play like the films of Jaws?
Yep, I've seen those. Insane.
I swear
they should have like divers like just down there just messing around, just kind of like just
making waves and shit. Yeah,
like that. Dude, I think I'm gonna do that.
I swear I won't keep doing this, but God, we just keep talking about movies, and I just had a funny Jaws moment with my grandfather. So this is one of those things when you're a kid, you get told something, and then you look back on it as you're older. And I wasn't really that old. I was still pretty young when I was like maybe, I don't know, let's call it 10. 9, 10 years old, whatever. The beginning of Jaws. So, when the girl dies at the beginning of Jaws, gets eaten.
Yeah.
So my grandpa, I was watching it, and I've said before, I was a huge Jaws fan. So I used to watch it if it was on TV, and I was at my grandparents a lot. And so my grandfather used to say, like when that would be on there, because that guy was drunk, the guy that was with her, they were drinking outside and he was all fucked up passed out on the beach. So my grandpa used to say, he's like, see, Luke, if he wouldn't have been drinking and been that, he could have done something about it and saved her life. And, my grandfather, who still to this day, he was always been my hero. Back then he passed, he's been gone a long time, but I was just, I nodded like, just absolutely not questioning anything. And then one time when I was, I don't know, just a random thought, I was like, as an adult, I thought to myself, I was like, if that guy was stone cold sober, he wasn't going to save that fucking woman. But, but then I thought to myself, I was like, that was still a moment that I wouldn't have questioned. I thought to myself, I was like, yep, he's still right. But, yeah.
So I want to share a really cool experience and story. My wife and I had the experience of kayaking, and I'd never done kayaking. Well, I did do it in Australia, and that was just, a lot easier, but we were in Juniper Springs, and it was like the stream, it was downstream, and it was about 7 miles. So it's a 4-hour trip in a kayak. Mm-hmm. And we went with some friends, and their experience, like we shouldn't have been on it. It's for intermediate, not for beginners. And when we went on that thing, it's like, well, it was tandem. So my wife was in the front and I was in the back. And we didn't get the steering part down right away. So we're just kind of like going into like when my wife is paddling, she's pushing me into the bank with like these like thorns and brushes and stuff. And I'm just getting like nailed. And it was like these branches of trees that just come out of the water like this. The water's beautiful. It's like 3 feet and it could be deeper, but it's so clear. That's the cool part of it. But we're just like doing like the Matrix, like bending backwards because the branches are coming over here. And I had a spider. I mean, we're talking about deadly creatures. I'm just definitely arachnophobic. I don't know what it is, but so what I see is like, Amy is going under first and she clears it. And then I see this spider kind of climbing this way. So it's the perfect timing when it's my turn to go, like the duck. No. Yeah. And it's like, I'm just like, it like was this close to me, like the size of my hand or bigger. I'm not kidding.
No.
And I'm just like this. And then I'm just like, I scream like a girl. I just like, I totally like, it was this loud shriek and I go, fucking nature. It's like,
dude, I'm honestly the same way. I'm
fuck
more
spiders, bro.
Like I'm more scared of spiders than snakes.
My wife,
like, yeah, I would rather see a snake than a big ass spider.
Bro,
it would surprise me.
If there's a spider in the house, my ass ain't killing it. I'm calling it out.
Well, I mean, I'll kill it.
Fuck that.
I'll still kill it, but I would rather get scared or spooked by a snake than spooked. I would be less spooked by a snake.
No, but like, do you guys ever like you're sleeping and then you have a dream like there's a fucking spider crawling like around your head or something, and then you wake up and you're like fucking shivering the pillow around and shit looking for it?
Oh yeah, everything's crawling.
Dude, that happens to me like once a year.
That's not a dream, Dave. That really happens.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm just letting you know that really
I know it really happens, but I like to not think about that, I'd rather think it's really in my dream and I'm not swallowing them all.
But like you do swallow. I think how many spiders in your life, like in a year or something like that.
Yeah, they say.
I know that's such a crazy stat, man. And I've always wondered. It makes you want to sleep with a fucking mask on.
But hey, real quick, Luke, you were talking about sharks in captivity. When's cancel culture coming after all the aquariums and?
I don't know. I feel like that's another thing that's been going on for years.
I know.
But, there's
SeaWorld, all that shit. Yeah.
But there's still like, with places. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey,
love you.
We don't.
That was my sister-in-law.
Hi, Lindsay.
What up, Lindsay?
What's going on?
No, I mean, I didn't. I didn't want to get into it. I was just being a smartass. That's all.
No, I don't think. I don't think they got. It's just more the same with that.
Yeah. But anyway, so listen, we got our guest, so let's get into his life a little bit and let's pick his brain. So, Joe, like I ask every one of our customers, buddy, take us back. Born and raised.
All right. So when I was a little boy, it has been quite an interesting ride for sure. And, I look at things as this had to happen in my life. It's no regrets. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm just grateful for all the experience and opportunity it's given me, especially the company, as we call it. It just kind of, I was done with college. I did 4 years of college as an artist. I have a bachelor's degree in computer art. And this was like when I graduated in 2000 and, life just kind of, like, you would think that if you have a paper or certificate, like you're just going to get handed everything. Like, that's what they tell you is you get that paper, you're going to get a job. And so when I came out and I was looking in the world, like I kept calling and getting applying to places, but I took temp work. And this is also when I just pretty much, I'm a newlywed, married in 2000. Year 2000 is when my wife and I got married. We're like 20 years. It's like 21 years. So that's crazy. But, she had some health challenges that were happening in her life. And me trying to figure out like what to do, I just kind of had to figure out get some kind of work or do something because the art is not quite, working right now at the moment. So from my temp jobs, from a call center from, I worked for RFBD, which is called Recording for the Blind and Dyslexic. I was like an audio person that was digitizing analog sounds into like actual digital recorder. I did some cool things like that, but I just had to find something. And so when we got on our own, because I did live with my parents after I got married, that kind of, I think, drove my wife insane. Like she just like, and I don't blame her. And there's nothing wrong with living at home. I'm not saying that at all. But it was definitely just taking a lot on her mentally. And so I just had to man up and be the guy, like, I can do this. Like, I'm going to figure out, I'm going to support her. So we moved into an apartment in South Jersey. And I just looked in the papers for something to do. And there's that whole, make $8.50 an hour part-time. It's like only work about 3 to 4 hours. And I'm like, okay, sure. Why not? It's like, why not? Fuck.
No, you got the rooster.
Career Builders is the little circular that they had like when I was there, and I found it. And I went in and, and I applied, went into the office. And so basically they said that I come tomorrow morning at like, early in the morning when the preload shift is in. That's when orientation is. And we just kind of sat around a table with a bunch of other people that just applied. And this was something where they're like, well, why the company? Like, and everybody had their answers and stuff like this. And this is something I didn't know, is that, everybody's like, well, I'm here for the benefits. I'm here for the benefits. I'm here for the benefits. And when it came down to me, it was like, I'm here because you hired me. I did get best of the both worlds for sure with this company, because those benefits have really, my wife that had these health challenges and stuff found the right doctors and the people to get her better and get her health at like 120%. I started in preload. Well, actually, I didn't start in preload. I started in the preload shift, but I was unloading the tractor trailers. Yep. That's where I was. And I did that for probably a couple days. I guess a supervisor was watching or something and say like, this is not where you need to be. You need to be over by the metros. And so they brought me over by the metros. And then that's when we had those charts that you put on the door. There was no smart label at that time or anything. You just had to have this no chart knowledge thing going on. Like, and you had a crayon, and my wife hated that crayon, because she found it in the pocket of my pants all the time, and she would just it would wash everything. It would just destroy it. So yeah,
dude, those crayons were deadly with that.
Yeah,
it's fucking deadly.
So, but I was in the hole. I don't know if you know what that means. Mm-hmm. If you've ever heard that term. Oh, you have.
I have.
Okay, yeah. So if for the viewers or people that don't know what the hole is, it's at the very end of the belt, and I had 4 trucks to load. I had a buffer because I was at the end, like it could go roll on the belt, but most of it was like bulk stuff and things like that.
Okay, I did the same thing then. We just didn't call it that.
I was in the front a couple times, but I hate that part. Like that was like I want to load. I don't want to sort for people, like, I know this is teamwork and everything, but it was definitely pressure. And the facility we were at is like, I think one of the 5 busiest ones in the country. So I don't know if I can say the location or whatever, but
go for it.
Lawnside, New Jersey. So there you go. If you're listening, yes, I actually came from there. And that was it. So I was just working there part-time, but the benefits kicked in, and that was cool after 6 months, because that's like a probationary thing. And then I just kind of went with the flow of it, because they said, do you want to drive? And I'm like, sure, why not? What did I got to do? And it's like, well, we have these Saturdays that you can deliver, like next day airs, they call it. And, we can, get you, just get trained on that. And I was like, well, I figure because I see all the people that I load these trucks, like my drivers that I take care of, they and they bust my balls all the time. I love that's one of the things that I really enjoyed. Like my one driver, if he's listening, his name is Mel Couch. He always kicked my ass. Jokingly, he kicked my ass. Like that was the thing. It was just kind of that, I guess the hazing type thing or whatever, but it was just like, tough love that he really cared and was cool stuff. And he was a very supporter in the times when I just like would break down and I was like, I wanted to quit. I wanted to leave. He would just be there. We have a beer. We talk about it. So he kept me in the game. In fact, my wife called him once because she thought I was going to leave like at one point. And so here he comes with the beer and everything. And we talk it out. And anyway, so I think it was like after 2 years, that's when I went full time. They had a position for me and I could go. So, I went to that route. And like, when I found out how much you could get paid doing this, I was getting more than some of my buddies in college that were, that got out there and in the real world doing their things. And all I'm doing is moving packages. And I don't mean it's just like moving packages. I know we are logistics solutions and do a lot of customer service out there, but it just baffled me. Like I get paid this much an hour to do this, And so that was like my thing as a full-time driver. And I floated the whole time. I never had a route. I wanted a route, but just the way things were going, like it just, I don't know. And I saw a lot of other people that came in after me, but they would take a trip out, ruin it, I would say, so that no one else can do it. And that became their kind of route because they're the ones that can do that in numbers. So, yeah, something like that. But, there are just some things that, I wasn't happy there. It wasn't for me for my whole time. I was there for almost 10 years. I knew up to 20 routes. And we just had, I guess, Ed come in. That was like the thing. Yeah. Which, if you follow that, you're going to be out there with crickets at night. Like, seriously, like it was just, yeah. And do you guys remember when it wasn't Bluetooth? Did you have that? Did you have to actually it was like an infrared where you had to go to these little stations?
That was before my time.
Like to scan like with the are you talking about the diodes?
Yeah.
I remember them. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They were. You're talking? Okay, if you're talking about a diode board, I know what you're talking about.
I was on. I had diode 4 at the time, and I was like at the end of the company. Like diode 5 came out, and I used that I think for a while. But diode 4 had it was the scanner that has the infrared, but that's funny. Like you say all these things and everybody knows what the company is, so fuck it. But anyways, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And but we would come in the morning, take our boards, and then like along this brick wall, they look like outlets or sockets, but they have like this, infrared, like a remote control red thing on it or like thing. And that's where you would sit there. Like, it looks like you're taking a piss. Like, really, you just have your board there and you're like, good morning, John, and you're just like downloading your route through that into it. And that's how Ed worked, like at the time. And then Bluetooth came around and that blew so many people away. So
Damn,
that's pretty much like, yeah, like, my, I guess like where I started with the company and what I did with it. The money was great. I spend a lot of stuff like with that money. You learn a lot, that's what I'm saying. But
oh yeah,
a lot of times when I bought things, I just thought that was like, gonna pacify and make me feel better because I can get another car. I can like take nice trips and go places when I can. But it just was not going to happen. Like it just caught up with me. And this was great because my wife got better and she could start doing work for herself, because the first 5 years after we were married, she couldn't hold a job. She tried, and even in her career, in her degree as a fashion designer, that's what she went to school for. She just couldn't, like focus or be there. And and I'll tell you just short, like the health challenge that she had is she was diagnosed bipolar. That's what happened to her. And you see her today, and there's like, she was bipolar, right?
I know that, because we've discussed that, before. We're not really discussed it, but I know that's what I've thought. That I'm like, damn, I don't. You're right, because I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it, but I definitely believe you that she did. But I'm saying, when you said, I'm like, damn, that caught me off guard, because that shocked me.
And I'm just happy because that's what she had to do. Is she's a good researcher. She found the doctors. It started with, of course, the chemicals, but then, the Western medicine, but then she looked at like natural alternatives. So it was like, integrative, we would say, because that kind of medicine for her, it's not going to be for everybody, but that she was started on is just a crutch until she can figure out, because she gained a lot of weight, a lot of side effects, like all those roles that you see, like, try this like new medicine on a commercial with the, the family that's all happy and the dog on the beach and like, but then you get diarrhea, dysentery, and you die.
Those fucking commercials, dude. Like you said, you see these, like the picture looks amazing. Then they're like, and the side effects may include nasal drip, anal seepage. It's like all, and they say it all over. Like, damn, wait.
Yeah,
like that sounds kind of fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like,
and even death.
I want that. There's a special treatment that was really cool. This is actually a chiropractor, and this was covered under the company, which I love. That helped me to have my sanity, as like, I was having a hard time still working for the company. I'll just keep saying the company. But it's a neat technique. It's actually, chiropractors do physical adjustments. There's a chiropractic treatment that is emotional. That's like a mental adjustment. It's crazy. It's called NET, neuro emotional technique is the name or the acronym for NET. And it's crazy because you put your hand out like this, and the chiropractor is going to try to push it down. Okay. And he'll go through like, like anger, frustration, resentment, paralyzed will, like all these different things, like weird stuff. And no matter how much you hold it, your hand or your arm is going to drop. And it's a muscle response is what it is. So he found that, and then basically finds somewhere, either was in your, before birth, childhood, currently situation right now. And he's able to basically tap it out of you. Like you're congruent with the situation you're in. It's like a subconscious thing. It's pretty cool. Like it was, and that helped her, especially, I guess, with her mental state as bipolar. That's one of the methods. And we're writing a book about this, basically our situation, our story, that got her better. And thanks to the company for that, she was able to have those benefits that she could go anytime she wanted to. And it did help her health. So I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah. And I think like, that's the one thing I think everybody says too. Like that's the one thing. And then there's even people on the preload who, they only do it for the benefits. And then they have their regular job that they work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, and it's like, it's just crazy to think about that. I don't know. That's just, but that's a big reason why a lot of people do work here, And I mean, I'm like, it's like speaking of benefits and all that stuff, and how the company has helped with all of that. So when we had our first kid, my wife wasn't on my insurance yet, and next thing you know, there's like a $800 or something bill coming in for the birth, and the hospital, all the everything for the birth and all this shit just came in for her from her benefits, and how much it actually covered. And now she's on my plan, and we just had our second kid. Didn't even know a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like and she was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, I know we should have really put you on we really should have put you on my benefit plan way before when we first got married, but yeah.
Because my wife did have some crazy surgeries too. She had her gallbladder removed. She had it was like
all while you were still on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you could see the bill and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Also it was, it's amazing. And I think that's great for people that can do that part-time and also have a business or do a business. Speaking of that, I forgot, I did have a art position. So when I was in preload before I went driving, I would there was a guy that was a manager or supervisor for the car wash, and he owned his own screen printing shop. So I got the opportunity to be the in-house artist there and learn everything I can to work in screen printing. That was pretty cool. So yeah.
Hey, so well, Z, because we had a guy. He's a supervisor. Was a friend of mine. But you did say car wash supervisor, right?
Car wash supervisor. Yeah.
Dude, we had a guy. I swear he was about to retire, and I saw him come in one day, and I was like, what? And he's like I said, he's a good dude. He's one of them people. Some may have bad things to say, but whatever. Everybody's gonna have opinions of people. He's always been cool to me, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? He was like, I'm the I forget what he said, and he was like, he said the name. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I come in, I'm like, when they're washing trucks. And I was like, you're the fucking car wash supervisor.
Car wash supervisor.
We have a fucking position. I was like, no wonder you didn't fucking retire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Speaking, is it okay to keep talking?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead,
well, yeah, just to segue into this, speaking of retirement, this is what hit home to me, realizing that I have to do something else and I can't be with the company anymore. And it was, I know there's probably a helicopter coming by. We're in Florida right now. Like I said, we're it's crazy stuff happening here, but we have water on one side and we have a bridge on the other. We're apparently from my in-laws, my mother-in-law says that we're homeless living under a bridge. But if you look at our Instagram photos and you see the sunsets and the palm trees, and we're eating mussels with white wine and garlic, watching the sunset. Yeah,
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I saw your Insta story on it. I was like, shit, man. You call that homeless? There's a lot of people that like to be. I was like, I'd be homeless. Hell.
We're houseless,
Yeah,
our home is on wheels, and it is this is my kitchen that you see in the background here, but you're like, that's in a van.
Well, that's that's when you say it, that probably with travelers, because I'm sure that just gets a stigma, because if you say you're like, oh, I don't own a house, they're like, oh, you're homeless, and then if they think you're homeless, they don't think. And maybe you don't work, you don't do whatever, you know what I mean? I'm
right.
Sure you run into that, but
I
definitely.
And I'm not gonna lie, because you think that you're secure about everything. You have no insecure, you just, nothing can hit you with that. But then there's always a little bit of that wherever we park sometimes, what somebody is thinking, it's just for a split second and then just wash it away. But some people are like, oh, they're just they're lazy, they don't do anything and stuff. So sometimes that hits me a little bit. I wonder what people say, but then it just you would think you were over it because you're out there, because you're going to get a lot of responses. Some people are gonna be like, this is so cool, I wanted to do this, I wish I could do this. And my question is why aren't you doing it? That's why it's I wish, stop wishing and do. But then also, there are people out there that oh, there's a van here, it's but I love it, I embrace it, and this is like I said, the moment that where we are now with, especially the picture that you saw with the sunset and the sand, those are the pictures that when I saw on Instagram of people doing van life, I saw I'm just I fell in love with that. I'm like, that's funny. Jokingly, living in a van, that's crazy. But here I am crazy doing it. And I get to that point where I now have that, Elon Musk would call it the money shot, what you visualize, and so you're at that point and you're like, wow, I did this. And it's just everything is worth it.
Awesome.
So yeah. But what happened at the company changed the way that I view things. And it especially, like I said, I've only been there for 8 years. So I didn't vest anything maybe over 10 years or more. And it just kind of, when we're talking about retirement, there was a gentleman that was about to retire. And you guys might have heard this in my story, listeners out there that in the Instagram, what was something wise that you heard, a driver taught you, or, a mentor kind of thing. And that was when I had an opportunity one night to clock out with a driver. And, we were closing out our dyad boards and stuff like that. And he's about to retire. And he turns to me and he says, you know what life's about, Joe? And this is where I get excited, because I'm like this little Joe, 27 or 28. I think that's how old I was. And I'm looking up to people to tell me the wisdom. You've been around long enough. You're you're a wine. You're a vintage wine that just gets better and better over the years. And so he goes I go, what is it about? And he goes, you work and then you die. And I was just and it was weird because he never speaks like that. So it didn't even sound like it was really coming from him. If you're looking for some kind of divine thing, or the universe or God or George Lucas, the Force, whatever, it was right there. And it just it made me cold. I just realized that I don't want to do this anymore. I went to school for the arts. I've seen what people do as they exit the company. Some have so many physical problems, after that. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to get. And I'm sure there's ways now with the tools and things that we have that can help people right now, as I'm learning. But I'm just if you look at people that are 10 years from now or 20 years from now, that's the easy instructions that you can get of what you want to be. Do you want to be this person or do you want to be that person? It just depends on you. But that was I got to figure out how to change my life right now and do something, because I know I got to do something else, but I don't know what it is. And that part's scary when you get to that level.
What's crazy, with the way that you said that too, and this is to say a shout out to, I heard this on the other Joe Rogan, his podcast, that other guy, he had Henry Rollins. If you guys know Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
Henry Rollins, I believe, was the one that actually said it. But he was talking about, talking about people working, how he was never able to do. He wasn't saying it in a bad way, but he was saying it like a tip of the hat, kind of the way he couldn't do it, because he was there's some people, because he was talking about doing what you want to do in life, kind of what you were just saying. Well, he was there's just some people that are willing to just, they're okay, I'm just going to do this, rather it be, the work the 9 to 5 and just go with it. And I forget exactly how to verbatim what he said, but it was really good, because I was he was saying it in a way just to motivate, to talk to that person that might be in that situation. It's I'm not saying, I'm not saying you were somebody that's in that situation, but might be, I guess, scared, worried, whatever the right word would be. But it was really there's things, because, and like you said too, Joe, when you hear something like that, especially when it's somebody that doesn't say, like, it's not somebody that you would be used to hearing that come out of their mouth.
Right.
That is gonna hit home, and man, that does, because it's like, damn, that just seems fucking final.
Yeah. And and what I want to say here is you guys are an inspiration, what you do here with All in the Delivery. And you open my eyes to something that I had a sour or bitter taste about the company. But with people that have been on this platform to speak and talk, that are drivers, that are loaders, that, they love what they do and they really are passionate about it. And it's amazing that they also have other side hustles and things that they devote their time and they really value it. So they can find that balance in it and they absolutely love it. And that just changed my mind to say, like, when someone says, should I work for the company? I would be like, no, don't run, just get away, because it's not. But who am I to be saying that to somebody? Because that is not, that is something that is different, where they may be seeking and looking for it and it might be the right fit for them. And that's what I learned from getting on, like, hearing you guys before, being or joining this whole podcast, being behind scenes and helping you, because you've inspired me. So I'm grateful and thank you for that. Really.
You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
You guys are fucking hilarious too. I'm sorry.
Well, I fucking appreciate that. Fuck. But there was a guy that was my helper a couple of years that, I've told this story a few times on my, I don't think I made a video on it, but he was young when he was helping me. He was only 18 or 19. And, he was a, long story short, he was a 2-time state champion wrestler. And our center manager at our building is a huge wrestling fan. Loves amateur wrestling. He's been officiating wrestling for 30-some fucking years. I don't know. A long time. So this kid was in college, and I mean, he was in the general study, like first semester, second semester. And he was the one person I can say, the way that I've always preached, saying what I've said about college, because I forget what his fucking major was, some type of engineering. It was a degree that he could use. Really, it was a good degree.
Better than Sanskrit or something.
Right. And so he was, talking about fucking getting on the company.
Oh!
And
you the cock.
So he, because he was, graduation was a long ways away, and I was just like, I told him, I said, I didn't really say to run, but I was like, I said, our center manager, he loves you. You can always get a job here. That. So I was like, I'm not saying I'm the one that was responsible for him staying in school. I don't know the way that I knew his parents, they probably would have pushed him to graduate to finish his degree anyway, I'm sure. But I've always said, I was like, I'm glad that he was one that because if he would have had, like, I just, like, with me, if I see somebody like me, and it doesn't matter, because I don't want to say no degree I want to say is useless if you use it. The way I say my degree was useless is because I knew I wasn't going to use it. I was just dicking off. That's the difference. Like, if he would,
you were
like
just learning actors and actresses' birthdays in the corner of the classroom and shit.
I was literally
learning how to have fun.
I was literally learning how to have fun and how to use a tool that would benefit me on a podcast almost 15 years later.
Right.
And,
that's the crazy thing. It goes full circle, because, like, you don't know what this skill is going to be or that you have, but years later down the road, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And this is interesting because I had no idea. When I left the company, I've impacted a few other people that left. And
nice.
because they weren't supposed to be there too. And they told me that. Like, I just learned a couple weeks ago, I think it was a week ago, one guy that he happened to be down here in Florida too. For some reason, I don't know if this is just the place to explore ideas and goals and dreams, but he's a very talented musician. He's got like he's a teacher. Hopefully have him on your show, because he also has a podcast as well called Sexy Dad Jokes. But he told me, just like, if you hadn't left, I wouldn't have left. I wouldn't have known like what I was supposed to, like, I didn't even know at the time, but now I'm here and I have something greater that I can do. And he said thank you to me. And I wasn't like looking to be like this mentor, this teacher, or, this thing, but everybody, no matter what position, where you are in level, you're a beacon of hope to somebody in some way. You impact somebody's life. So, and if you kind of like look at it as accept that this is the way it happened, even though it's not the most pleasant time, there is a reason why that happened. And if you hold that mindset of being thankful and grateful instead of like regrets, you become the better person, you become stronger, and you can just, you can get through anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's awesome that you you were able to motivate other that because with me, when you inspire other people, that makes it, I feel like that's even better than when you do it yourself, because that's like an ultimate high. You know what I mean? It's like good for it just
selfless act. Yeah.
But that guy, to not jump backwards, but that dude, the helper, ended up graduating. I think he got an internship and he's working and doing well. So that guy, he ended up doing all right. I wanted to make sure I had that in there. He may listen to this. I don't know if he does or not, but I'll have to ask him.
Yeah. And then after I left the company, I was terrified. Like, I was like, what am I going to do next? I was definitely still floating, so I didn't have a route. I was always stressed every morning. Man, it felt like you were just pulling people out of the pond, I guess, like, and just throwing them in one of the trucks and just, here's a map and go. And you just get this feeling in the morning, like every day. And then just like or the sweats on Sunday night about the anxiety of going back, and it's like, you think you can hide out on Fridays, Saturdays, you're fine. And then Sunday it starts creeping up on you. And I still get PTSD, like dreams about this stuff. It's like crazy. But it was, I didn't know what to do or what I was going to do. So I just said, why don't I take a mixology course? It's just randomly. It's like, it's 2 weeks, so I can get certified to be a bartender. And I did that when I would come to work and they would just say, you're extra. There's no work, so go home, or like, you had to still stay around before the moment when all the trucks leave. But like, you're like, please, I don't want to go. 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 Like, it's like, well, that was me. But and we had a shitty cafeteria. I hope they have something better than that. But anyways, that's where all the floaters hide. It's funny to
wait. You guys have a cafeteria in your building?
I was just about to ask that.
What?
Boy, we don't.
Dude, our buildings suck.
No, it's just a stupid vending coffee machine that makes dirt water and another vending machine next to it.
Oh,
and yeah, it's just got like those really
we have like a conference room, and that's where everybody goes and eats mostly.
Yeah, I guess what it is, but. I was just like, it's like, I was always nervous because like, I was always uncomfortable because of, I don't know where I'm going to go. And I never got trained on some of these routes. They just would put you out cold. And say,
you were in that spot. You were in that era too, man. There was no cradles. There's no, you had, like you said, have a map, and you were, I'd like to think that they're a little less asshole-ish now. Because I know when you quit or when you were done, I would. That was when I'd been there some years at that point. Because when was it 2010? Did you tell me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd been there 3 years at that point, and when I started, yeah, it was. I mean, I I feel like it's gotten, or maybe it's because I've became more of an asshole. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, you guys make it fun for sure, and it's almost like too fun that people on Instagram go, I want to be a driver,
Yeah,
but you know what it takes.
Awesome. Right.
Yeah. It's like, you got to get punched in the face, man. And that's what it is. You got to get punched in the face before you can like say something or whatever. And you guys have certainly got punched in the face. But I became a mixologist because that's what I did when I was extra, went home. Instead of going home, I just took the course, and I actually predicted that I wasn't going to work for a week or two. And it was sure enough right. That's how crazy sometimes the floating was. And so I became a bartender. I got the certificate, took the test and everything. And then I'm like, I just started, I said, I'm out. And it took me 2 years to get out. I did a little bit of planning. I downsized some of the habits of things that I've done. Especially I sold my car. We had 2 cars. I had a Scion TC.
So did I.
Oh my God, that car was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it had like they had the turbo
Standard?
in it.
Standard?
You would just like,
Stick shift?
Stick shift,
Oh yeah.
of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Manual transmission,
Yep.
baby. That was like, yeah. And it like I would like when the lights went green, everybody was behind me. And I'm like, and this is like what is it a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder? I think
It was at a 2.4?
Yeah, 2.4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's like, where does this power come from? But that car was amazing. So one of the things that I did do is I did sell that car, and I bought a bicycle, an actual fold up bicycle. And I rode that bicycle to work for the company. I had people laughing at me. This bike was cool. It folds up. So like, I could like take it on. There was a train stop where I was that would just pop me out by Lawnside from my house. So I'd ride the bike to the train station, put my bike on there, go to there, unfold it, ride down the hill to the building, come in holding my bike. Like people probably, I don't know what people thought, like whatever, but and like, and I carried it into my truck that I'm going, fold it up and put it in the corner. That was, yeah. And so, that's like how I took 2 years to kind of get myself into, I just to make things a little bit better, because I racked up a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like we renovated our house. Like, we made this thing ultra modern. It was a beautiful 3-floor townhome. It was like a row house in New Jersey, bamboo flooring, like hi-hats, like like we look like the, I don't know, like the European style, just the bougie people, I suppose, but I got bougie, but in a van. And so like that was the thing. So I took a leap of faith. I'm just going to say this. I had no idea what I'm going to do. I took a leap of faith. I'm going to take a giant income, a portion of it. I was making 2/3 of the income. My wife was making the other. Like that's how, like, this was. And that terrified her too. And I gave her this was great, because the way that I put that letter in writing to leave is we took a badass vacation to Australia. Like we went to Australia for a fortnight, 2 weeks. And because we didn't have a honeymoon when we got married. So that was like, finally, let's spend it on this. And I just had the bright idea after racking all that up to just like, hey, I'm not coming back to work. I just wrote a nice letter to to get out. They didn't believe me. That was funny. He said, let's just put this over here and give you some time to think about this. And in 2 weeks, let's just talk about it. If I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not coming back, and so after those 2 weeks, I'm like, I didn't hear calls or anything happening. And I'm like, what the heck, they should know by now. And my wife has a job, a really good job in Philadelphia as a technical fashion designer. She's worked on maternity wear, like clothing, cool stuff for Pee in the Pod. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, like it was called Destination Maternity, and her insurance is what needs to happen so that after I left the company, they can, get a letter, which is, I think it's like basically a termination letter or an exit interview that tells you that you left the company, blah, blah, blah. And they never got anything because it's either the choice of Cobra or a company is going to take you under and your insurance and stuff. And so their company's like, well, where is this letter or something? And so I was like, I don't know. So I walk into the building after 2 weeks. And this is funny because I'm just like, still got my badge. It's just funny. And I go to my center and I see my supervisors there and they look and I could swear they look at me like, he's back, he's coming back. And I'm like, you ready to get started? Like they basically said, are you ready to get back into the truck? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to get out of here. What are you doing? And they're like, oh, you were serious? And then I saw them scramble and they're like, oh shit. So they said, well, we just didn't think you were serious. And I'm like, I gave you a letter that said, and it's like, but it was like, it was crazy, but I just couldn't get closure, guys. That was like, I want closure. I want out so I can do the next thing. Finally, that happened. And I worked at bars doing bartending. I worked at restaurants, taking my fold-up bike with me on the train into the city of Philadelphia, working at a hotel bar. So I learned a lot from that. And then what happened was the tool that you make, that you mix alcohol with is called a jigger. Okay. And I'm just like a guy that loves entertainment and things like that. I don't know if the company made me an extrovert because I like being out there with people. That was cool. When you're on those routes and you just that's what makes you as the driver. You sell yourself in a way. Okay. It's not the company. And so that's what keeps people in the business going. And it's amazing. But anyways, I saw that tool and I'm like, I'm going to turn that into a yo-yo, because when I went to college, when I went to art school, I learned how to yo-yo. That was something I worked at a toy store part-time to pay for my art supplies and just try to make a cost of living. But I learned how to yo-yo there in college. And what's funny is, sometimes in the truck, I'd be in the back doing my yo-yo tricks and stuff like that. I guess it was just calming. But anyways, I just looked at it and I said, I'm going to turn that into a yo-yo. That's going to be my flair. I'll do cool tricks when people are just tipsy. That's how I'll get my money. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Honestly, I don't. But my belief of making this happen into it, just kind of I got a call either the next day or sometime from a friend, an old college buddy of mine that I haven't seen for 10 years. And we went to college together, worked at the toy store together, and he and I learned how to yo-yo together. And he basically, found out that we were close. He saw me on Facebook, doing yo-yo stuff and stuff. And he's like, are you still learning how to yo-yo? I thought about doing it again and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So we find time to get together. He's in New York and we're in New Jersey at the time. So we're pretty close. We go up there to pay a visit to see him and just kind of a reunion. It's 10 years, 10,
Wow.
Gross Point Blank reference. We both did it. It was so cool. It was just, it was awesome.
Great movie.
Yeah. What I found out, I still got to drive to Michigan to see Grosse Pointe. Everyone tells me to go there. That's just, I'm going to do it, but I digress a lot. Sorry. I got together with him. I found out his life was different from mine. Of course, he worked for Fossil, the sunglasses. He worked for Buck Knife. And then he's currently at the time was working for Movado watches. He's a industrial designer. And he had the software And I told him about this idea that I had to make this yo-yo a measuring tool that you can measure alcohol out of. And he just basically went like that in front of his computer and he created it just like that. And he knows also how to manufacture, call people, do things like that. So he found a machinist in Tennessee. It was, shout out to Alvin. He's, I don't hope he listens to this, but he by day works, but at night he has a garage with a CNC machine in there. And we made these yo-yos out of aluminum. Okay. 61 aircraft aluminum. So they're high-end precision, but the first prototype that went off of that machine worked flawless. It was a very well sought after yo-yo. It's called the wet whistle because it's like bartender, give me something to wet my whistle.
Nice. Yes. It's clever. I like it.
Yeah. And so that kind of jumpstart me into the next thing that I was going to do. And I didn't know I was going to do it. It's like, we both kind of just were joking. It's like, you want to start a yo-yo company? And I'm like, sure, why not? Whatever. We know everything, but we don't have any business degrees. So that was where going out on a leap of faith and trusting things that you do, and just getting yourself out of the comfort zone. I could keep going. We probably can talk about stories about this, later, or you can find out in a book. But I became the PR guy. I really had to go out there and advertise and show this product. And just a really short story, I had no room reservation down in Florida because the World's Contest was held down in Florida for 10 years, basically, and one of those years that I went down, basically, I went with my yo-yos with nobody to room with, no ticket. And I had to sell those 10 prototype yo-yos. We were called 10 yo-yo. So we did 10 prototypes, 10 years because of the joke about the movie and the reading, basically. So but think about that is just when I went there, it's like, I have to offload these yo-yos and we sell them for $100 a piece. So we sold all those 10 yo-yos. I connected with people that let me share a space on the floor in the room. So now I had a place to stay overnight at the hotel that had the event. And just started talking to people. And I realized that this is what I got to do to get this company and get these yo-yos out there. And so that was like a fresh start. So coming from something that having never been there in location in Orlando, Florida for this World's Yo-Yo contest, don't have a ticket to get into the contest, don't know anybody, to really putting myself out there. And our company did pretty well for 5 years, but that was like our business venture for that.
Nice. Dude, that's pretty badass to see, not seeing somebody for 10 years and then starting up a business.
Yeah.
And,
it's definitely a learning experience for sure. It also, not knowing a business, you're going to for my situation, we failed, and we'll say that, but we say we fail forward. Okay. You learn things from it, but what this brought to me is the next adventure in my life with Amy. She kind of left her job. I pretty much moved to Florida before her. I was done with New Jersey. It's too cold, guys. I'm sorry. You guys up there, I just can't do snow anymore. I said, I'm going to Florida because, I was down there for 8 weeks before Amy left her job up north to come down and follow me. So and we started a granola bar business in farmers markets to owning a coffee catering business. And those are things that we just learned how to work for ourselves and not have to work for. It's weird seeing other hands just come in.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She came down. She came down.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, that's kind of learning.
There he is.
Yeah. So that's so like that came to the coffee catering business, and then everything else we did, and there's more.
Sorry, I had to pop away real quick. Wait, you need.
No worries.
But yeah. So when I left, you were talking about the yo-yo and all that. And did you touch on that more?
I did. We made 5 different yo-yos.
Yep.
From that company. The first one, like I said, was just pure luck, but just making this yo-yo, and when it got off the machine, it worked flawless. So like, we can run a yo-yo company. Yeah, we know what we're doing. And then the second yo-yo was a complete flop. I think we went through, 10 prototypes. I guess that's the magic number.
So when you were working at the toy store, what brand yo-yo were you using?
The Omega Brain. That's what I started on.
Was that the one that had like the springs in it?
The clutch. Yep.
Yeah.
After it stopped spinning. Yep.
Little fun fact: I used to be obsessed with yo-yos when I was little, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
That when I worked at the toy store, there was a videotape by Omega.
Yeah.
And it had Alex Garcia on it. It's like this kid that's like younger than me. And the funny thing is, like, I finally got to meet him in real life, and he got older and everything. Yeah, it's weird like how that happened. But that was how it started. Start with the Brain, and then I upgraded to a $40 yo-yo and got a Raider, the Omega Raider with the ball bearing in it.
Didn't the Brain click too? Like as it was down there fucking sleeping, it's like it was like really loud.
It made noise. Yeah, right? It made noise.
Right. I think I remember this.
Kind of like the clicking noise. Yeah. And then there was a bunch of knockoffs of that one that like would just break after 3 throws.
Yeah, but the Omega, they were those in Duncan were the real deals. But
the Omega yo-yos were where I got my first start with that. And then there was another company. It's called Yo-Yo Jam. They don't exist anymore, unfortunately. They're an American-made company. It's really cool. I had a yo-yo called a Spin Factor, and that's when they put metal on the outside edges that gave it more centrifugal spin and force. So it would spin long.
It would sleep longer.
Yeah, you can get these yo-yos to sleep for honestly, like our yo-yos, you throw them a good throw, you could get 3 minutes easy.
Oh shit!
Out of it. Yeah, without. Yeah, it was awesome. But like it's like then there were about so we were kind of a boutique yo-yo company. Our thing was being made in America. A lot of my background in arts came out to that because after I went out there and we started doing our own thing, and the skills that you learn, especially since I went to art school, I applied it. I had to add new skills to it because I'm in a business with pressure that this is not a letter grade. This is where you get paid. This is what you got to do. It's total different. So I really sometimes wish schools would actually teach where you actually do get paid instead of just a letter grade, because people don't treat it like it's real.
Absolutely.
And they really need to put those situations and problem solving in. But yeah, that was like, our like, I did some cool package designs. And cut budget wise, because this is our startup business. Like I actually went to dumpsters and got the cardboard to make my own packaging. And I did some cool strategies of this packaging where I had a bandsaw. So I would glue stacks of it together like this, like layers of it, about probably 7 or 8 layers to make it nice and thick. You ever see, I don't know if you got pets, if you go to a pet store and you see those like scratching posts made out of cardboard, those things are so cool. So that's kind of where I got the idea, is like, I can shape this to go to for the first yo-yo we had, which is called the Wet Whistle. And do our own packaging instead of having a supplier make it, and the costs are so high. I would just, it was my labor and my time, but I went to dumpster diving, and I got these boxes. I became a box connoisseur. Who figured? Because I worked for the company. You know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Irony.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Talk about corrugation. I'm your man. But it's just like basically like I got a bandsaw. After gluing all this together, I cut it into the shape using the bandsaw. And then I had one of those drills that make the doorknob holes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the perfect thing to go right down into those layers.
Oh, no way.
The yo-yo would sit nicely inside, like somebody had a laser machine or die cutting it. And all this came from, like, just creative. It was like, and that's what our company really people loved and it shined from is the presentation. Like people would get these yo-yos with a theme, an idea. There was one yo-yo that was called a decapod from our company, and look it up. You got that right?
Okay, I got it.
And you like, I'm shiny like a decapod. Look it up.
Oh.
That part. So a decapod is an 8-limb creature. No, I'm sorry, 10. 8 limbs are freaking spiders. They freak me out. But anyways, like 10 for 10 yo-yo. A decapod is a 10-limb creature. A crustacean like a crab is a 10-limbed creature. And so I thought, like, how do I sell this? How do I present this? And so I thought about seafood. And like when you go to a supermarket and you go to the freezer section and you see the styrofoam, just like those meat trays and also the seafood trays. And like, they have the in there. So I put the yo-yo in one of those. Actually, I went to a grocery store and I was just asking nicely if I could like have like a stack of trays for a project. Actually, I hoard my wife out to go do it. But anyways, we're not going to get culture canceled, are we?
Nah.
Okay.
Culture canceled.
Cancel culture.
We're going to get cancel culture.
Potatoes, tomatoes, cradle, craddle.
Oh, man. No.
Anyways.
Maybe.
But yeah,
I
so
doubt it.
she got the trays just from a deli person, just like that. Didn't have to pay for them. We wanted to pay, but here you go. And I'm like, holy shit. So I took those trays, I put our decapod yo-yo in there, and then I used shrink wrap to cover it. And then my graphic design background made those like labels that look like the weight scale, how much per pound, and it's seafood. And I said it's free range. So like I was just joking, and like it looks like the price has been reduced type thing.
Oh my
goodness. It was so cool. And
That's cool.
It came with a sticker, came with an extra string, came with the yo-yo in there, and people love that. They're like, they can't wait. When they knew another yo-yo was coming out, they're like, they gotta have, like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but we did a lot. And one of my I have a tattoo of a logo from one of my designs from our third yo-yo, which is called the Drop Bear. And the Drop Bear is a fictional creature in Australia. People love to do this, joke and do this for shits and giggles to tourists that come over. They're like, watch out for drop bears, mate. Like, what's a drop bear? It's a koala that's it's vicious. It'll jump out a tree and it'll get you and kill it, and so they say to deter it, put Vegemite behind your ears. I don't know if you know what Vegemite is. You ever eat that shit?
I actually don't. I know what Vegemite is, but I've never had it. I couldn't even tell you what the fuck is in Vegemite, but I know what it is.
Yeah, it's not sweet, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
It's yeast. Oh. It's pretty much just straight yeast, and they love it. They put it on their toast. And we did that like when we were in Australia. But yeah, you rub Vegemite on your ears, that deters it, and you put forks in your hair. I think that was another one. So we thought that was funny. We're like, we're gonna create this yo-yo called the Drop Bear. And so I created a koala like with angry eyes, and it's dropping. It has the action lines of actually dropping. and we lasered that on our yo-yo so it looks like it's coming out of the half. I put it in a box that looks like a crate that was like, shipping an animal.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool,
So,
man.
Yeah, you guys are going to get a lot of nice merchandise out of me.
There you go.
Or us.
There you go.
We're husband and wife.
So, so we're running right now. Hour and 25 minutes so far.
I know.
No, it's good. Good stuff. So
it'll be like the actual Joe Rogan podcast, which is 3 hours.
3 hours. I know, right? We could go 3 hours.
He definitely. I've noticed that too. I'm like, damn, he does. He fucking.
Oh, he does. Well, that's because he gets paid for it.
Right. It's
a lot of money, probably.
Like since he went to Spotify, like he's just like exclusive to them, but like he did that before, anyways. Like he was gonna do it anyway, like that way. But it's just and one of my goals as Joe Rogan is to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. So it's gonna be Joe Rogan versus Joe Rogan.
There you go.
I love it.
So, have you thought about your helper story?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Let's go. Tell us.
I mean, it's going to be short, sweet, and quick because I sugarcoat it, but his name is John. And he's a really good helper, not those stories that you hear, especially where, Dave had to ditch his helper, or the irregular helper, like none of that. He was good. This one's funny because I had a route in Medford, New Jersey, and I don't know, it was like that neighborhood that's like the Stepford Wives or like white picket fences, like just everything is just perfect, right? So I told my helper where I'm gonna meet him, and I told him that in that neighborhood, I want you to be there. And so I can pick you up at that time when we're scheduled. And as I got over there, I see cop cars too, and they're talking to him like there's something going on, and I'm like, what the hell's happening here? Like, it's like this is a nice neighborhood and everything like that. And then, but the cops like were just about to leave as I came over. And I could see he's like, laughing and smiling. And I think the cops were too. So I'm like, okay, this is good. But I'm like, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, oh, I didn't do anything. It's like they like somebody in the neighborhood thought he was like a predator, like a child predator. and so they called the cops.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was like, oh my gosh.
As he's going house to house.
Yeah.
No offense, dude. You look like a child predator. We had to call.
So watch out when somebody's wearing brown.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's embarrassing. Fuck.
That's pretty much like it. And he laughed it off. But I'm like, man, I'm glad it doesn't go on your record. If you're getting jobs and stuff, it's like, so that's my helper story.
That's weird. Like,
I had your experience as well, like irregulars and people that, we're going to definitely be canceled because like we're calling people irregulars.
No, it's fine.
How's Justin? Shout out to Justin E-Regs. That's Justin's episode.
Yeah, I had a couple of E-Reg helpers.
Overweights and earrings.
Oh
I feel like I can. I shouldn't. I can't. I feel like I shouldn't get in trouble because I weigh a lot. I'm overweight probably by the America's health standards. So I feel like I'm like I always liked Ralphie May, rest in peace. God, he I don't know if you guys ever listened to him. He's got some shit on
He
Netflix.
passed away?
Ralphie May did, yeah.
Oh shit. Died. Okay, all right. Yeah.
But God, he was fucking I forget what this one was. He was saying he he had to lose weight to play a fat guy, or they told him to lose weight to play a fat guy. He's like, I'm too fat to be fat, motherfucker. Just it was. I mean, he had so much shit, dude. I mean, you want to talk about? I mean, we're talking about culture cancel culture. Ralphie May, man, we might be hearing his name down the road trying to get canceled.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
never. You guys are great. Like the platform that you serve for people to express themselves the way that can impact lives. Keep doing what you're doing with that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, man. Brother. So let's get into the question of the week. And so this question of the week was brought to you by the Rolling Rogans. And the question of the week is, what is the one thing you wish your customers knew about you or your job? And we got quite a few on this one. And some of them may be repetitive, but bear with us here. These two comments coming from Facebook. This one's from John Waddell. Shout out John Waddell from my building. He says, asking if it's hot or cold or wet enough out for you. Real funny, buddy. And yes, I've heard about the Fed Up merger. And if we had a freaking penny for merger. Every time somebody told us the Fed Up joke, a customer, we could fucking retire probably.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But next one's here's from Sean Avery. Shout out Sean Avery. I wish that they knew that 5:30 p.m. is not working late. It's true.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? Like you show up at customer's house 5:30, 6 o'clock. Man, you're
running late, huh? Like, yeah.
No, man, it's early. What are you talking about? And that was a couple that we had from Facebook. The rest here is all from Instagram. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna start going these off. If you guys want to chime in, feel free. This one's here from Fitzy at Parcel Savage. Says, I wish they could see the massive effort that got their package there my God, I'm having a stroke right now. Through multiple sort aisles, hubs, planes, and feeders, but they just see some exhausted guy in uniform bop out of a truck for 2 seconds.
So true.
It's true. It's true. Next one here is from Tony from Tony at Upsman3010 says, wish they knew the thank yous and the notes really, really do mean something when you're out on the road. And of course the gifts, but those are extra special.
Of course.
That is true. This one here is from T Kingsbury 13. I wish they knew that I cannot shut off or turn down the obnoxious hazard beeping. Beep, beep. Beep.
Oh. Those are those like
you have nightmares about those.
No, they're not on all of them.
Because I remember the 700s.
Mine's quiet.
Yeah, they had the 700s that even had a chime when you start it. It would go beep 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 like something like that. And yeah. I feel bad, but I would say this job sucks. Like that's how I waited for that. It's like I shouldn't have done that.
That's a good one.
Nah, you should have.
You got us a good laugh. This one is from Preston Sell. No, we make left turns also. We've heard that one too.
Yeah.
Yep. This one here is from Jerica D. She says that we do much more than just drive a truck around all day.
That one I actually wanted to say something about, because that is something to my mentor. Shout out to Disgruntled Doug. He that's what he used to say. He would say, I used to tell. I mean, it would be a whole lot longer than what I'll get into, but I swear that's what he based it on. He's like, people think we just drive around waving people all day. I swear he used to say it all the time.
True. It's true. This one here is from Brown Man and Brown. Shout out to our last week guest, Albert. Albert says, I wish they knew how much harder the job is than it looks. 99% of interactions are cordial. I can't fucking read, Christ. But there's always that 1%. If people knew, maybe there would be more empathy. Less Karens, more kindness. But since there's a fantasy that'll never happen, I just wish people would remember what the fuck they ordered, so they quit asking me, what's in the box?
Dude. That still goes on in anything,
Oh,
like
yeah.
any company. It's crazy. Even like so I have a gig economy jobs, like I do DoorDash, I do other stuff, and I do Walmart deliveries, and person's asking me what is it? Like when I deliver, like you bought it online and it's like express delivery, and you're asking me what it is?
Yeah, you just ordered this probably like 8 hours ago.
Yeah, less than that. I'm
Yeah.
serious. Like yeah, it's
Just
like
run together. Just run together.
like it's like 10-second Tom or
10
something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Tom, the wedding singer. No, the other Adam Sandler movie. What's
50 first.
50 First Dates? Fuck.
50 First Dates. Yeah.
Classic, fucking classic. This next one's from Cinnamini, New York 3. Fuck shit. That I'm having a rough night tonight. She says that I literally have no idea what's in their box or what they order. Stop asking me. Yep. Well, we just said that. This one here is also from a past guest. Shout out to Brandon B-Dub 1180 says, first, I don't know if I have your package just by telling me your name and address would be most helpful. Second, yes, I'm on my lunch. Would you enjoy not being left alone while you're trying to enjoy your sandwich and try and shut off for a few minutes? And third, I did not take your damn dog. LOL.
Oh,
Dog napper.
Dog napper.
yeah.
This
I still, it's funny how he has that stuffed animal, that story about like, and they taped it like the other people have done that like on his on his,
crazy.
yeah.
That's this one here is from Justin, past guest. Also, Justin says, coming out to get your package saves us steps. Or if you have a shitty driveway, leave a container at the end of your driveway for us to DR2. If there's any customers that listen to this podcast, listen to this guy. If you have a long driveway, leave a tote at the bottom that says parcel deliveries. Holy shit, we would love you guys. I mean, we love you guys anyways. But this one's from Big Beer Belly. Hey, Big Beer Belly 760 says, how annoying it is to say, stay cool or stay dry. Heard that one way too much. Like, yep, thank you.
So
I already
many
went.
times.
Yep. This one here is from Trev Knight says, I want them to know that you are not the only stop. So if I seem in a hurry, I'm not a jerk. I'm in a hurry. That's not about me, but they should know.
Right.
This one here is from Those Three Dudes podcast. Says, just because your parcel return has a U, a P, and a S on it doesn't mean that the guy in brown takes care of it for you. It's true. That is true. This one here is from Ups Maine. They say that I was once the North American wife carrying champion. Then my customers will understand when they see me running up and down their driveway.
I like it.
Runner. Hey, stop running. Slow down. This one's from Myco. I don't know what the fuck that is. There's like 3 E's. I don't know why I sounded out like that. My Coe says that no, I can't take that. That's for the post office. Or no, I can't look up things with my scanner or print. It's true.
Yeah, the magic board that has all the
They're like, can you track this for? No, I can't. Don't you have a computer or fucking phone? This one's from Idaho Birder. How hard we really work for them. 100%.
So true.
100%. This one here is from T So's. I had to look this one up last time, didn't I? What's her name? Tyson. Yeah, Tyson. Hey, this is from T Sobe. At my home, I always leave a container of liquid soap next to the outside spigot. All my delivery guys, gals, know they can clean their hands there if they need to. Not really any businesses close, but they can use. Are you a customer, Tyson?
That's a customer.
Is it? I don't know.
Nice.
That would sound like a customer.
Just the way it sounded like it's a customer. Yo, Tyson, let me know if you're a customer. This one here is from NC Static X. Says, no, there is an AC in the truck. Not even in Florida. It's true. It's true.
Giant couple.
This one here is from DJ Crater. When we are pulling away, no need to yell. Does this need a signature? Ah, fuck.
Fuck.
I hate that one. You know, you get in the truck, you start it off, you put it in drive slowly. Hey, Jesus, you said no, we don't need a fucking signature. I would have stopped and knocked. They would have been there waiting for you.
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ. So that's a good one. This one's from the Aztec. Ooh, we got quite a few. This one's from the Aztec. Says, yes. Says 1, yes, it's very hot outside. 2, I can't stay dry. I'm out here delivering your shit in the rain. 3, no, I don't have AC in my truck. Yep.
That's
It's true.
I should just have it on the outside of the truck.
I know, right? These next 2 are actually from DJ Crate Oregon. Says, doorbells. Did you know most front doorbells ring ding dong and the side or rear doorbells ring a simple ding? Is that true?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm interested now because I've always wondered how they knew what door to go to. If there's a doorbell on the side or the front, you know? He also says, I knock on your side door. I more than likely left your package there. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Last but not least here, guys, we have Ben Ingersoll 3 says, I think as a sleeper driver, I wish the everyday customers understood the sacrifices made at home being away from family for several days or a week at a time to transport the goods. True.
So true.
True. Yeah, so it seemed like the main things were stay wet, stay dry.
That's a popular one. Yeah.
Yeah.
AC.
That's what we hear so
Yeah.
much.
Yep. The AC. Yeah. Fuck, dude.
They think we have like air conditioning in. I thought I turned you off. Sorry, Siri just took over and decided to listen to our conversations.
Oh, we're about to get canceled.
Oh
Here
God.
it comes. Imagine if Siri's the head of cancel culture because she's listening all the time.
Everywhere.
Don't CC us. Don't CC us. I don't think the Rolling Rogans got to chime in, and that was like for one of those two about from the question of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of would go back to about valuing the time of us when we were when I was a driver, especially incidents with I'm coming in and they have a customer, but I have a COD.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't just wait till you. There was a I'm getting yeah. there was a shoe store in Medford that this guy, you had to wait for him to be done with a customer, sizing and everything, to actually so he would take care of the COD. I was just too nice, but just to understand the time, just like the drivers, it is very important. They have other deliveries, other things to do. Right. They want to get home.
Right. And it's there'll be times when maybe you'll deliver and they'll be like, oh, can you actually take this? I had the label. It's like, yeah. Is it already taped up and everything? Label already on it? No. And then it's
they say yes, and then they start doing it.
But it's let's say they say no. And you're just and then they're like, oh, are you in a rush? You're like, yeah, but you want to give me everything. I got tape in the trunk. I'll just fucking throw it all out because we're going to tape it much faster than they will. They're going to come out with a roll of tape that's fucking stuck already somewhere and they're trying to find the fucking opening. And then they come out with a pair of scissors or something. And then they're out there just, it's just fuck.
Well, and you'll probably have to get it the next day if you don't get it then. So you may as well just get it now.
Yeah, you got to train your customers.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So, but anyways,
wow,
I think that's pretty much it. And I know we're gonna have to have you on a second time, and I know there's a lot more that we can cover for your life for sure.
I definitely. I would love that. Also, have my wife too, the other Rolling Rogan, share her story.
Absolutely.
But I'm just so grateful for you guys. Like I said, this podcast is amazing, and your goals and your dreams they will come true.
Thank you.
Just a matter of when. Just believe that, and we're here to help you get there.
Thank you. So much.
Appreciate you guys very much.
Absolutely. And I mean, you fucking know us, but listen, I asked it everybody. Do you have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
I do have a question.
All right, let's go.
Which one of you guys
Uh-oh.
wants me to be your helper this year?
I'd say,
I'm gonna let Luke go first.
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably have to say, I mean, I wouldn't leave you. Dave might leave you. If you don't leave on the- but
Come on, bro.
I mean, I haven't cheated. I haven't had a helper in a while, but you being a former driver, I wouldn't.
Let's
it
go.
would be fine,
Let's go,
man.
Joe.
I'd be like, yeah,
But
we
do
can
it?
do it.
Let's fucking do it, Joe. I won't.
right.
I will not leave you. I promise.
All right.
Let's fucking do it.
I'm coming.
All right.
coming.
All right.
I don't know why I would be in the cold.
It's going to be
What
cold up here, but listen.
Yeah, I know. I actually have to be up there for a wedding in December. So,
Oh, there you go.
thank you so much for having your wedding in December. And
Who does that?
yeah, a very good friend.
Yeah,
I love
there you
him.
go. There you go.
Very happy for him. So just he knows too. But yeah,
awesome.
But yeah. I say, you know what? Why not? Just do it for fun. And if
Where?
I can get
Where about?
Where
is it? Like what town?
where in New Jersey?
Oh, okay.
But we travel
Yes.
full time on wheels.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So you guys will be seeing me no matter what.
Hey.
That's just like we're making a trip up the East Coast this year.
There you
'Cause
go.
I have to do business elsewhere too and take care of some things. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. And supposedly, I think what they say by the end of April, everyone's going to be vaccinated in the U.S., right? Supposedly, that's what our president says. But hey, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But hey, no, good news. If you want to talk about this actually really quick, because this actually affects you. Shit, almost fucking slipped there, huh? Because this affects us guys who work for the company. So a part of the, well, first of all, some of the guys up here in our local and all that stuff, they lost, I think they cut 2/3 of the pension and something like that. Yeah, the pension got fucked up here. And they actually lost parts of the pension. Like my father, for instance, got affected with it. And when they moved down to Virginia Beach, the plan was, let's retire down here. We had the pension, and with all the pension money coming in, we'll be fine. And then the pension got cut. And so my dad had to pick up a job and my mom had to pick up a job. Not exactly their whole retirement plan that they had in mind, but
Right.
a part of the stimulus bill that just got passed, and everyone's going to be getting some more money again. In a whole bunch of that other stuff in there was to rebuild up the pensions. And that affects my father. That affects previous workers for the company as well. And my dad actually called me today and said that bill is about to get passed by the president of the United States, which means my dad would get 100% of his pension instead of, I think they cut it down to 72%, I think it was. So he's going to get a back check of like an extra, probably almost $40,000 because it's been 3 years now. And so like, it was very upsetting that happened because, he was promised this pension when he started with the company. And then, I don't know how it got by to take money from the pension and all that shit. But my dad is very excited. And I'm sure a lot of retirees are very excited about that as well.
He played a lot of parlays.
But yeah, I thought that'd be nice to bring that up because that does affect people who we work with too. Because there was a lot of people, even some guys who are about to retire, whose pensions are getting that was going to affect me, as well and shit. So, but to see that happen now, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
So,
and if we, like the viewers that listen to this podcast, you guys had some amazing stories with drivers, especially Pissed Off Yorker when he was on. And I think K Pasa Bro talked about it too.
Pasa Bruce.
They talk about like, it's not having all your eggs in one basket. You have multiple streams and ideas, and like you're talking about real estate, you're talking about other things that are going to like, pension is good for one part of it, but you truly do never know what happens. And even if the government intervenes, but just a short story with my parents, my mom, my father had no idea he was going to get a divorce. Like that was just, and so like New Jersey has some crazy laws and stuff, but like he lost like 2/3 of his pension because of that to my mom. And so it's like, and so the idea is like have other backup plans or think about other streams of income. And, going forward, having people on in this podcast and interviews, they can lend the things that they're doing. And that's what's so cool is like you win already as a driver. Or what you do is delivery. It's good pay. It's good. It's good stuff. But then you can have so much more now to work on about that. So
totally.
I'm done.
Cool.
It's been good, brother. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah. And guys, like we always say, don't forget your most important stop. All right. So get home safe, everyone. And we'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
Peace.